So I got a lady that's currently living in the United States. She's staying in a room, just an open room that's like 10 feet by 10 feet. No kitchen, just an open space room. Social Security, retirement income is is very low. And she's like, Cortez, I need to move out of the States. I don't have a life here. I don't want to live with my children. Done that. I've stayed with a friend in their house. I need my own place. I can't afford to live here anymore. And so, and that's, a common question I get from folks is, can I live on $1,000 a month? Can I live on $1,500 a month in Mexico and actually have a good life? And so this lady's hired me to help her find a place. And her requirements are, I need a place that's $300 a month or less. And if she can get a place that will allow her to have more money left over. And her thing is, I don't need fancy. I'm living in a box. Essentially, that's what I'm living. I'm living in a box, 10 by 10 or 10 by 12 or something like that. I'm living in a box. So anything would be better. And more importantly, I will have money left over. I might actually be able to save some money. And so I'm going to be glancing back and forth, looking at some notes, and I'm going to show you some of the places that one could get for $300 or less, which, like she said, based on her initial research for Mexico, what I've seen online is infinitely better. And the benefit here, I'm in Merida, Mexico, Yucatan, Mexico, and it's a very safe place. So that's one of the other benefits. You get to be in the second safest city in all of the Americas, and you got access to the beach. You can go down and meet the fishermen and get fresh fish right out the water for practically pennies on the dollar. Now, when I say you can have a great life, it's hard for people to believe that it's possible. So I'm going to show some things to you today. Now, this only works if you come here with an open mindset, be willing to change, and essentially, when your funds are that tight, you're going to have to be very disciplined, be on a very strict budget, and you're almost essentially going to have to live like the locals. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be pleasant, but I'm saying it's doable. I personally know somebody who's living here on $900 a month, and he actually has money left over. Now he's living with somebody. He's renting a room. I believe he's paying like $95 a month for that room. That includes the utilities and all of that. $95 a month. So now most folks probably won't be able to do that. They be like, I need my own space. And that's you. And that keeps you in that position where you won't necessarily have the freedoms and the flexibility to go out now. Because he only paid $95 a month, all his money is freed up. You know what I mean? So you literally got to find these specific situations that make it work for you. He can go to the beach because he could take a ride to the beach for I think there's a bus. I can't remember the price. It's like the equivalent of $1 or $2 or something like that. Take a van down to the beach. It might be $2 and hang out all day and take a ride back. Or alternatively, the family themselves that he's renting from goes to the beach, hitch a ride with them, chip in a little gas money to help. So it's possible. I know Merida is booming and growing, and it's expensive, and it's getting expensive by the day. However, there are some spots throughout the city where you can still find crazy, insane deals. So let's take a look at some of the stuff. I just sent her some samples. She won't be here until next month. But I sent her some samples of what she could possibly end up getting. Remember, she's living in a room that's like 10 by 12. So as she said, anything is infinitely better. So here we are, 5,000 pesos a month. This particular home is inside of a privada. And it is, I'm going to click to translate, It's an apartment for rent with services and no endorsement. So basically that's saying it's going to include trash pickup, water service. It's going to include internet, cable TV. That's included in the rent. 5,000 pesos. What is 5,000 pesos? Let's look it up. 5,000 Mexican pesos to USD at today's exchange rate is about $278 a month. Now, as she said, I need my stuff to be under $300 a month. It has a small kitchenette. It has an electric stove here, that the little grill top on the top. Has a couple of bar stools. Has a full bathroom. Remember, she don't got this in the other spot. No kitchen. She has air conditioning in there. There's a TV is included, the internet modem, and this space. Now, the apartment is a studio type, very comfortable, perfect location. I know where this area is at. This is Monte Cristo. This is one of the wealthier areas in the city of Merida. Close to the plazas, high tide, uptown and urban. 1 bedroom studio, little kitchen, TV, air conditioning, closet, refrigerator, full bath, gated. So it's a gated community. It's in a gated community. That's a provider. So she has to pay first month rent, half a month of a deposit, and 1 month agreement. So I mean, we're looking at about $700 to move in, and boom, the rent is $278 a month. So that's apartment number 1. Great area. Because of the location of this area, that's why I'm saying you gotta be very strategic. She can, now mind you, she don't have to pay no internet, don't have to pay no water, don't have to pay trash pickup. Trash pickup, they typically come to your place and pick up the trash 3 days a week. So that's a bill she don't have to pay, no internet. So her funds, that's keeping her costs down significantly. And she has space, independence. You know what I mean? So she's in an area that's very walkable. There's a frutera, there's a vegetable fruit shop down there. I know where it's at. She can walk to it and get fresh fruits and vegetables. Because she's buying from the local markets, the local vendors, she doesn't have to pay the higher prices that you would pay in the grocery store. She primarily eats fruits and vegetables anyway. So that's a huge savings. When you go into the big chain grocery stores, you're going to spend more money for the same fruits and vegetables that you can get from the vendors. And it's generally going to be fresher when you get it from the vendors. See where I'm going with this? So it's possible. You're just going to have to change your lifestyle. You're going to have to do a lot of things that the locals do. One of those things might require you to eat more of the staple foods that the locals eat. Tortillas, beans, rice, a little bit of pork, a little bit of chicken, and cooking at home. They're not going out to eat. Now, with that said, because of the savings that you'll have and you'll have money left over, you might decide to go out and splurge and feed yourself, eat out once a week. And when you eat at some of the local places where the locals go eat, the local mom and pops, you can go in there and get yourself a nice meal, a full plate of food, a drink, and get all that under between $4 and $5. That includes your drink, a plate of food, and probably enough to take home and to take out and eat for a late night snack. So let's hop in and look at another one. Now, like I say, her biggest requirement, Cortez, my stuff need to be under $300. Now, this here is a house. Look at this. This is 4,800 pesos. Let's see what 4,800 pesos is per month. That's $267 a month. $267 a month, and you get a house. Now, I don't see any air conditioning units in there. They do have a refrigerator right here, another stove top. If you really wanted to buy a stove and put it in here, you can go buy one. And I've seen them. You can get a full stove with gas stove with 6 burners on top for like $250, $300. That's if you want that. I don't see any air conditionings in here in the room. It might say so in the listing. Comfortable house located in the north, 8 minutes from Plaza Alta Brisa. That's 8 minutes from the mall. Ideal for a person or a couple who needs a comfortable and cozy space. So 1 room, 1 bath, 1 garage, 1 floor, 1 level home. It's furnished. That's what it's saying right there. Available as of June 3rd, 2008. Okay, so like they just copied the old listing. So look at that. That's a whole house. Furnished. Now I don't see any air conditioning units, so that means, but what you can't get the world for $278 a month. So what does that mean? You're gonna have to go out and buy your own air conditioning unit. I know how much they cost because the house that we're in now, when we had some rolling blackouts, the surge knocked out 2 of the air conditioning units, so the owner had to replace them. She was like, Cortez, can you do me a favor? Because she lives in Texas. So can you do me a favor and go look and shop for some air conditioning units? She said, I know you probably got relationships with handymen who can set it up. So we went and bought 2 new air conditioning units. They was on sale for $250 a piece. So for $250, you can go buy an air conditioning unit, and for about $75 to $100, you can have somebody come and install it. If you look deeper and harder, you can find somebody who can get it done cheaper. But this guy, I knew him. You know, he charges. He's more reliable, so he charges a little more. And I know I can get somebody to come out there and do it cheaper. But when I call him, he will come right away, typically the same day, and get the job done. When you don't have no air conditioning in the house and you ready for it to be installed, I'll pay a few extra dollars to get this guy to come install it and have it done in a couple of hours, and I'm done. You know what I mean? Don't have to come back and fix it. Don't have to come back and repair it. But for $250, you can get that air conditioning unit. So again, you're not going to get the place is already furnished. So how better would your life be if you moving out of a 10 by 12 box, essentially, and you moving into this? You got a whole lot more space. This thing is saying it's 100 square meters. I don't know what that's, see what that convert to. 100 square meters to square feet. I'm curious what that is. So she goes to 1,000 square feet of space. Right now, she's a 10 by 12. She's living in about 120 square foot of space is what she's living in now. She get 10 times the space by moving into this house for $278 a month. I don't know if this includes services. It doesn't say it does. But again, this is what she's getting. And remind you, if you want a bigger refrigerator, you want a bigger stove, you can add all that. You can put whatever you want in this house. You can paint the walls if you want. They just require you turn it back over the same way you got it. They don't care what you do. And this area also is in Concal. Okay, I know exactly where this is at. This is in Concal, close to the center of Concal, which has its own centro. I mean, come on, $278 a month. This is another house, 5,000 pesos. 5,000 pesos. We just did the math on that a moment ago. It's $278. Is that right? 5,000 pesos. Yeah, $278 a month. This is another one-level home. This is in Aliman. Very great area. A lot of the local foreigners and expats meet up there in the center to do aerobics. They meet up there on the weekend to walk. Look at this space. Look at all this space. Now, this one's not furnished. It has a separate kitchen, room, semi-furnished. Has a bed in there if you'd like to keep that. Does have an air conditioning unit in the bedroom. $278 a month. Bathroom, little yard, etc. Small apartment for rent, for one person, semi-furnished, electric grid, blah, blah, blah. Rent with the services included are Wi-Fi, internet, water, and trash pickup. All that's included. Own bathroom, etc., etc. Pets okay, etc., etc. $278 a month. Better than a 10 by 12. What else? Another place. This is a little more, 5,300 pesos. This is in Cauquel. Got a little gate out front. This is not furnished. A lot of space. So you're going to have to put your own stuff in here. It's the kitchen, backyard. A lot of space. That is 5,300 pesos. Let's do the math. 5,300, $295 a month. This is another one, a 1-bedroom apartment, 5,000 pesos. That's about $278 a month. Got an air conditioning unit in that bedroom. Small kitchen. Remember, again, you gotta see where you at. In her case, she's coming from a open space room that's 10 by 12. This is an upgrade. All right, air conditioning, fan, closet, hot water, Wi-Fi included. The lights are paid separately, so you pay your own electricity. And this is this is Francisco de Montejo, one of my favorite neighborhoods. You got access to everything in this neighborhood. You walk to a million restaurants, a million vendors out there selling everything. Tamales. Go over there and buy a tamale for $1. When I get hungry sometimes and I don't feel like, we don't feel like cooking, I go buy 2 tamales for each of us. You know what I mean? $10. That's two tamales times 5 people. It costs about $1 each. Some of them are less. So about $10 for 10 tamales. They get a 2-liter Coca-Cola, and that's dinner. And everybody's stuffed. You got that all over Francisco de Montejo. They got all these little cafes, coffees, and foods you can try. Tacos, burritos, everywhere. Shopping everywhere. The dentist, the doctor, laboratories for testing, everything. Malls all over the place in that area. And again, $278 a month. I promise you life was going to be a whole lot better. A lot better. Now, this is another house. This is 4,500 pesos. Let's see what 4,500 pesos is. Cheaper than the other stuff. $250 a month. $250. This has 2 bedrooms. So not a lot of pictures. Them the only 2 pictures they got. But this is 2-bedroom house. 2-bedroom, 1 bath. Let's see what it say. House for rent consists of living room and dining room, 2-bedroom, bathroom, kitchen. That's all they got. Now, if they don't include trash, just to give you an idea, trash typically gets picked up 3 days a week. Ours get picked up Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Typically, it's $25 per year for trash. Water, if you have to pay water, $7 to $10 every 2 months is what you can expect to pay. If internet is not included, fiber optic speed internet range anywhere from $20 to $30 a month, depending on how fast you want to go. And the speeds get even higher. Very stable internet, and in that area especially, the internet is solid. Let's see here. This is a 1-bedroom. Look at this, 3,500 pesos a month. Let's see what that is. 3,500. 3,500 pesos, $195 a month. $195 a month. Let's see. Look at some pictures. Remember, this is the house. This is an upgrade when you're coming from a 10 by 12 space that has no kitchen. Look at this. You got a bathroom, dining room. This is the kitchen. You can add shelving here. Again, a lot of people will come in here and put cabinets up in here, add shelving. This is just a basic layout. I mean, you're not gonna get a whole lot when you're paying $200 and $300 a month for rent. But in this case, she is getting a whole lot compared to what she has. And in that, what did I say that was? $195 a month for rent. So it includes 1 bedroom, 1 bath, contract. If all go well, blah blah blah. If all go well, good pay, good housekeeping. The contract extends at no cost. All right, so they look like they allow you to do a 6-month lease as well. So $295. That what we said? No, $195. I don't know why I keep forgetting. $195. How much? What kind of life can you have when your rent is $195? Now, probably no air conditioning. Doesn't look like it. But for $250, you can add the AC. Now, mind you, when you add the air conditioning unit to the house, you can take it with you. So that way, if you move to another place, you can take it that doesn't have air conditioning, or you can strategically shop for a place that's cheaper because it doesn't have air conditioning, which it won't matter because you bring in your own. So the air conditioning comes with you. So imagine how much better your life can be when your rent is only $195 a month. That frees up a whole lot of money. It's impossible to live in the United States for $195 a month. And in many cases, on top of that, you have to pay for internet, you have to pay for trash, you have to pay for water, you have to pay for gas, electricity. There's no money left after you get through. That's just to live. That don't even count no groceries or anything. You're trying to do that in the States, ain't happening. So can you really live a better life? I think so. Absolutely. Like I say, the guy that's making less than $1,000, or he's living on less than $1,000 a month. There's so many things and places and benefits to, and I'm just looking at some notes, you know what I mean? So many things you can do. I'm going to show you how you can live better. There are like 10 or 12 beaches that are near Merida. I live in Concao, so there's a beach that's a 25-minute drive from my house. Progreso Beach, which is the main beach, is about 30 minutes from my house. And it's 30 minutes from Merida. And so there are, like I say, there's about 10 or 12 beach towns right here that we can hop on a bus or hop in a car or hop in an Uber and go check them out. So we got this beach here called Celestune. And the water's beautiful. Look at that. We got some beautiful water. You know what I mean? This, can you live, is your life enhanced by living near a beach? And here we are, here's Progreso Beach. You got these fishing boats that pull in the port. This is Celestune. You can walk, you literally, like at 5 p.m., these boats start pulling in. And you can literally go and ask them, can you buy their fish? And you get the best deal. I'm sorry, got stuff popping up on my screen. Seesaw. This is another beach town. And like I say, most of these are slightly further away, but we're talking 45 minutes to an hour to get to these other beaches. This beach here is beautiful. This is right, like about 50 minutes. You got all these small beach towns. And these same $300, $200 a month rent that I'm showing you, you can find some deals like this in these small beach towns. Now, you're not going to be right on the water, but you might be 4 or 5 blocks away, and you can walk to the beach from your house. So if a beach lifestyle is what you're looking for, you don't have to live 30 minutes away from the beach if you're going to find yourself at the beach. Now, look at now these are the Merida beaches. Now, here's Merida right here. And all of these beaches are nearby. I'm talking, so right from here to this beach, Progreso, it's a 30-minute drive. Just trying to give you some depth of how far it is from here to here. It's a 30-minute drive to Merida, to the beach. So 35, 40 minutes here, 45, 50 minutes, in all these other little beach towns. So you got all of that close by. So your life, like I say, can you really live a better life? I mean, you go down there once a week. If you want fresh fish, meet those guys down there at the fishing pier and buy your fish. And once you buy it a couple of times, you can just get their phone number on WhatsApp. And you won't have to go down there. You can just message them on WhatsApp and say, hey, can you bring it to my house? Now, you might pay them a little extra, few dollars, $3, $4 to bring it to your house. But you can buy you can get fish, you can get lobster, you get shrimp, you get fresh octopus, and I'm talking about pennies. We went fishing, we went to a small beach town, and the guy had just pulled up in his boat. There was almost like 200 snapper, all kinds of red, these big old fish, small fish, all this fish. About 200 fishes in that cooler he had. And Angel asked him how much would he sell that fish for, and I can't remember the numbers, but I want to say the man said, "Give me $100 and you can get all this fish." That man had been out there in that water fishing all day. 'Cause keep in mind, these fishermen, they bring their fish in and they got to go to all these different businesses and try and sell the fish to all these people. And keep in mind, here people generally get paid by the day. So the fisherman, when he say, I give you all of this for $100. He's coming up, and he's getting rid of it quick, right off the bat. He's offloading it, and he done made $100 for the day. I mean, think about it. Here in Mexico, folks is making about $75 a week. That's what they take home. So when he's getting $100 for one day's work, that's a fortune for him. And you did him a favor. He don't have to hawk his stuff off and negotiate. He just hand it over and you're done. So I'm talking about snapper, grouper, all kinds of fish. So is your life better? Can you answer the question? Can you really live better? Can you retire here and live a better life just by being here? Now your house might not be the best thing, but with a little bit of elbow grease, you can dress these places up. I've seen it. This lady has a house that she's renting for $200 a month. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, hell no, what the hell is this? I went back, saw her 6 months later. She transformed that thing into her own, dressed the backyard up. She wouldn't allow anybody in her house for the first 6 months until she got that thing together. Total transformation. And she didn't have a whole lot of money. She living on a very limited income. But week by week, she added this, she took away that, she cleaned this, moved that, and in 6 months, she was able to put all that stuff together. And at that one house we looked at here, there was a 2-bedroom. If you really on a tight budget, it's 2-bedroom, guess what you can do? You can rent one of the rooms to somebody else. Because there are a lot of forums, and honestly, you can rent the room to somebody else who got some decent money. I'm just giving you some ideas how to get creative. There are a lot of expat forums, these Facebook groups in Merida, and people are looking for a place to live. People are looking for roommates, other foreigners. So theoretically, if in this 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom house, what was that, 4,500 pesos? All right, $250 a month is what that is. Theoretically, because many of the other foreigners that are coming through, they might have a little bit more money. You can say, hey, I'll rent you this second room for what your rent is. Say, hey, give me this $250, and I'll rent this room you can rent this second room. And guess what? Many people will jump on that because they don't want to sign a 6-month lease or a 12-month lease. They want to check it out. They want to make sure they want to stay here. And if you got the place cleaned up real nice and decorated and add the AC, they'll be happy to pay $250. Now you don't have to pay no rent. None. Have them pay rent and split the utilities, whatever utilities you have to have paid, which is the electricity. So now you have no rent. when you get it. Again, this is about thinking this through, getting strategic, and freeing up your money. That extra room could pay you. Because I've noticed from experience, a lot of foreigners, a lot of folk that are looking to move here don't want to stay by themselves during the first 6 months. And you might be able to even rent your room out by the week. You can get $250 for that room for a week. I know this personally because people do it. You know what I mean? They're not renting it to other locals. They're renting it to other foreigners that's coming through, checking out the city, that don't want to be here by themselves. So if you can get $250 for a week, or just $200 for a week, you just dress up that room, dress up the house. Because a lot of folk want to live in the authentic, typical Mexican neighborhood. They don't want to live where all the fancy stuff is at. So you can get it. You can get $200 for 7 days. You can get $200 for a weekly stay. Easy. I know that for a fact. Again, now you're freeing up your rent, and now you get an extra money. If you rent it out twice a month, or again, you can say, hey, give me, $300, $400 a month. You can stay in my place for the minimum of 3 months. So, again, just throwing some options. You got the beaches. Check this out. These are cenotes. These are like underground caves where the locals go swimming. This place, cenotes are unique to Merida. Look at this. You can, and it costs like $2.50, $3 to go swimming in these things. Look at these. These are cenotes, underground caves where people go swimming. Look at that. $2, $3, and you can stay in there all day. Look at that. Now, again, I ask you, can you live a better life in Mexico? Look at this. People going out here going swimming. Again, is this better living? Cenotes. This is how you spell it. Cenote. Look it up. Type in cenotes Merida. There's a couple of hundred of them just within an hour's drive from Merida. Some much closer. You go swimming. Robert took a scuba diving classes. They learned in one of these cenotes. This is what you got access to. Are you going to get this in the States? Hell to the no. I mean, you can have your pick. You can spend the whole year going to cenotes and still not visit them all. You know what I mean? Festivities, events happening down here. I'm just going to pull up things to do in Merida, Chichen Itza. This is one of the 7 wonders of the world is here in Merida. Chichen Itza. They got pyramids out here galore. They got this ocean that you can go to where the water is pink. Let me see if I can open that up. Look at this. This. You go out there and see the pink. This is the water. The water pink. People go out here and get a big bag of the pink salt. You know what I mean? All this is nearby. Look at that. That's water. People go out there and look at these flamingos. Like I say, Progresso, we got these big old John. I like looking at messing around with them pelicans. So you got all these things to do. I mean, you'll never run out of stuff to do. Let me back out of that. So a lot of people go here to see these pink flamingos that you see here on the screen. That's just what they do. People go to these different towns. There's a bunch of towns that you can go to that's nearby. Ruins all over the place. So, I mean, these are the different things that you can do. And this is just the surface. Merida downtown have a whole bunch of things. They have walking food tours. They have a whole street full of restaurants. They have events on the weekends. There's always something to do. So again, I ask you, does your quality of life improve just by moving here? Now, there are other parts of Mexico where the cost of living is even cheaper. And let me open this up some more. And I'm just looking over here at my notes. The pros to living here, you have close proximity to the United States. So with the money that you save, because you actually have money left over for the first time, you can still fly back to the States. Many places, Merida has its own airport, so you can have direct flights in many cases, depending on where you're going. You can be back in the States within 2 to 3 hours, depending on where you're at. Still go see your family, your children, your grandchildren. Another pro is healthier lifestyle with the food. Like I say, they don't have all the chemicals and hormones and stuff in the food. So again, the food, you'll lose weight. A lot of folks have come off of their medicines just simply by the change of the food. You can get cheaper medications from the pharmacies. And like I said, in many cases, you come off your medication. We're near the beach. You can live a better, simpler life, very safe. A lot of the crimes that's happening against older people in the United States is ridiculous. Younger folk just, women just getting punched in the face and folk getting robbed on the streets in the States. They don't got that here. I haven't heard a gunshot in 3 years. Since in the 3 years I've been, I ain't heard none of that. Haven't been to a single place where there was a brawl or a fist fight or nothing. Better, simpler life. Now again, this is not easy if you're coming here on a very strict budget, but like I said earlier, you're gonna have to adopt the lifestyle and live pretty much like the locals eat. Live like the locals. You're gonna have to eat the staple foods. I mentioned that earlier: beans, rice, tortillas. And what do beans, rice, and tortillas do for you? It fills your stomach up quick. Don't need to eat a whole lot. You know what I mean? They have pork. You get some chicken. It's like I say, go get you some tamales, $1. You can go get some tacos, 2 or 3 tacos. I mean, many places I go to, I get 3 tacos and I get a drink, a beer, and I'm talking about under $5. Under $5. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking like $4.95. I'm talking about under $5. Under $5. You know, so now again, you will have to adjust to the lifestyle. They're the trade-off. They move slow out here. They ain't gonna move fast. They ain't gonna move at your pace. So you're gonna have to adjust your expectations. This part of Merida is very hot. So you're gonna have to adapt to that. Now there's other parts of Mexico where it's much cooler. You won't have to deal with the heat as much as you would here in Merida, but you don't get the beach. So you have to ask yourself, I can deal with the heat a few months out the year because it gets really, really, really hot. There's no downplaying that. It's unbearable for many. But there's over 1 million people that live here. So they figured it out. They deal with it. It's not pleasant, but hey, what worse? Not having no money in the States? Getting robbed and mugged and beat up? Nah. You know what I mean? When you move here, it's like you're going to go back 50 years in time. Like Mayberry. Everybody polite. The whole family goes out together, grandmom and hanging, a lot of families live together. 2 or 3 generations living in the same house. They go to the mall, you see them holding hands. The 17-year-old son is holding his mom's hand, or the 16-year-old daughter is holding her mom's hand, all hand in hand, walking together, walking across the street. So the culture is different. People here are very friendly. So you're going to have to adjust a lot of your mindset. And it can be frustrating the first 6 to 12 months. There's no exaggeration about that. It's not easy. It's difficult. I'm not telling you. I'm not painting a pretty picture for you because it is difficult. I've seen a lot of folks come here thinking they can make it work, and 2-3 months later or 6 months later, they on the plane going back home because they just got frustrated. Coming to a new place, doing things differently, and not having the ability as a grown up to be able to order your own food, it can set a lot of people back. It can cause them to shut down. And they like, I can't even order a hamburger. I can't even order any fries. I can't do this. But time is your friend. If you ride it out, it will work. Merida will work wonders for you. The people that stuck it out and waited until that transition switched over, they living their best lives. I go down there to the beach. I see these, we gringos. That's what they call us, gringos. I go down to the beach. Sometimes I see these gringos kite surfing. You know what I'm saying? Let me pull this up. These jokers be out there kite surfing. And I'm like, man, these jokers out here living their best life. And this is what they doing out here in Merida. You know what I mean? They even got a school where they teach you how to kite surf. Let me find some pictures here. I'm thinking about taking me some classes because it looks fun. These folks out here living their best life. You know what I mean? Don't get it twisted. You can go fishing. You can go fishing. Let me see if I can find somebody doing something out here.
Most kiteboarders that make the trek never heard of it unless find them in the rough. So I'm going to tell you a bit more about this kite spot, what to know before you go, the seasons, the conditions, everything you need to know to plan your trip here to Progresso.
They teaching this.
So when's the best time to come and why you should come to Progresso? The best seasons here are basically all year round.
So you got things to do. My daughter takes horseback riding classes. They got sewing classes out here, nail classes, learn how to do your nails. They got painting classes, teach you how to paint, karate classes, aikido classes, boxing classes, gyms you can join and work out at, food trucks. Some of these foreigners here setting up food trucks and they cooking because they love to cook. There's so many things out here for you to do. Now, I know a lot of folks are like, well, the retirement requirement requires you to have $4,000 a month. You be able to show proof of that in order to get residency. Listen, yes, that may be the case. But there are other visa options, residency options, where there's no income requirements, no employment verification or anything like that. So there are workarounds for you to pull this off. Also, many times you'll find so even though some of these folks that I talk about might only have, their pensions might only be $1,000 a month, oftentimes many have sold their home because people are like, how are they able to get down there and buy? Because some people have buy a house. They might have had a home that they sold, got a quick $100,000, $150,000. They might have qualified for residency in different, like I say, the different manners that they retirement income might have a nice little lick, but they know that they can't spend no more than a certain amount per month. So they come out and outright buy a house. But there are many ways, there are other options for getting residency without meeting the monthly income requirements. There are workarounds. That's why I advise everybody, no matter what you think, if you don't think you qualify, don't write it off until you speak with an attorney. Talk to a Mexican attorney on this side, because you can talk to an attorney for about an hour out here. You can call them on the phone, set up an appointment, and talk to an attorney for like $30 to $40 for an hour, and they will ask you a series of questions and try and figure out a way you can get a visa. Pay the money to talk with one. So other folks that come down here with very limited income, they they start little businesses. When you become a resident, once you get your residency, you can get a work permit. And people are out there selling their art on the sidewalks where all the people are gathered at on the weekend, selling their stuff, getting creative, selling their stuff. So you have options. Don't talk yourself out of this. Now, my goal is not to, again, get y'all out here and struggling. You know, there's a lot of things you still need to do the research on, like health insurance, although healthcare options are very cheap down here. You know, there's still some things you need to do, investigate insurance options and whatnot. I mean, we can go to the doctor for $3.50 to go see the doctor, just for some basic stuff. You know, emergency room visits. I've been there a couple of times. I've taken my kids to the emergency room a couple of times, and I'm always shocked. And the bill be like $30 to $35. You know what I mean? To go see the doctor at 2 in the morning because we done got sick. You know, so, but again, you got to do your research. If you have to have a heart surgery out here or have a medical emergency, it can get costly if you don't have insurance. And they require you to pay up front. You know, so again, do your research. Do your research. Check out our website, moveabroadandthrive.com. We have a VIP members group that you can join. There's a section in there that's called Ask Cartes, and you can post all the questions you like. I personally answer those questions. Also, our other members will generally jump in and answer questions that other people ask. So that's a membership. That's the benefit of membership. Also, have a lifetime VIP option, and that includes a free telephone consultation with me. Happy to get on the phone and talk to you. We have other courses in there, just some pre-planning things for you to do to plan your escape. And we have Move Abroad Academy, where we just help you write out your goals. And you know, you got to have a pretty strong why as to why you're coming here. You can't just be like, oh, I just want to go and live. No, for me, I had to get my finances in order. I'm 50 years old, and I'm like, man, I didn't do a good job saving. I don't have no savings. I have no retirement and no 401k. I need to figure out what to do so that in the next 10 years, I'm ready financially. And so one of the things I realized is I needed to cut my expenses drastically so that I can save the difference. And so moving here is, you know, my research led me to investigate other countries where my money go further, where I can spend less and still have a pretty decent life and save the money. The opposite happened. Once we got down here, I didn't factor in that quality of life would actually be better. I just thought I'd come down here and work like a dog and save, stick to the plan. But got a bigger house, a better house for half of what I was paying in the States. You know, I'm like, wait a minute. Our quality of life is improved, and we still saving money. And I'm like, this is crazy. Kids are doing the things they love, living their best life. They doing activities that would cost a ton of money in the States. Going to an equestrian academy, trying to learn how to ride horses, they charge like $75 to $100 for half an hour for 30 minutes in the States. Here, for $15, you're getting a full hour lesson. And because they ain't watching the clock, that 1 hour lesson typically ends up being an hour and 30 minutes for $15. You know what I mean? Options. Kids are learning a second language. They're talking about sticking around and going to college. So my quality of life has improved significantly in ways I never predicted. It's hard getting people to believe what I'm saying. They like, no, it ain't that simple. Now, and it wasn't. Because like I say, that first year was an adjustment phase. That was the hardest time. But now, it just gets better and better as the years go by. I understand more each year. I'm more confident each year. You know, I'm more relaxed. It just gets better. So check out our VIP, moveabroadandthrive.com/VIP. If you'd like to talk, book a consultation, moveabroadandthrive.com. You'll see a menu. Click on the consultation link. If you're on your mobile device, click the little hamburger menu with the 3 little lines in the top right-hand corner. Click that. It'll expand. Click consultation. And like I say, join our VIP. You'll see the VIP link there. Also, if you find our content helpful and this stuff is helping you plan this out and think this through, consider making a donation. So, thank you for watching. Please post your questions. I'm happy to answer. And like I say, if you're part of our VIP member, get in on the inside and talk to me. I'm signing off. MoveAbroadandThrive.com.